This is your old self, the cycle of repetitive thoughts, relived emotions, and memories you refuse to release. As long as you carry this weight, your reality cannot shift. This burden isn't always physical, most of the time it is an invisible, silent load you have carried for years. It manifests as a tightness in your chest every morning, a voice in your head whispering, "Don't expect too much," and the patterns you swore you'd never repeat, yet did anyway. It lives within your nervous system, your chemistry, and your micro decisions. It isn't just a history, it is a frequency. Like a song stuck on a loop, your old self plays over and over while your dreams remain on pause. Here is the truth no one tells you. You cannot step into a new life while remaining loyal to the energy of your past. Most people fail to realize this. They try to manifest change by thinking differently, visualizing, or scripting, but underneath the surface, they remain the same person. They wake up in the same emotional state, inhabit the same story, and expect the world to shift while they stay energetically identical to who they were yesterday. Let's be honest, that identity, your old self, was built for survival. It was crafted in moments of pain, rejection, failure, and disappointment. You didn't choose it consciously, it was a reaction, a defense mechanism, a mask you learned to wear. Over time, that mask became familiar and comfortable until you forgot it was a mask at all and began to believe it was you. But what if it isn't? What if the voice claiming you aren't ready or that the risk is too high isn't the truth, but simply the echo of a past you haven't released? Quantum physics teaches us something revolutionary. Reality does not exist independently, it responds to the observer and your state of being. You are not separate from the field, you are the field collapsed into form. Every time you embody that old self, the universe delivers more of the same, not as a curse, but because the field is loyal to coherence. You are the tuning fork. You do not manifest what you want, you manifest who you are being. This work isn't about becoming someone new, it is about unbecoming everything you are not. The old self seeks safety, but safety is not your soul's purpose, and stagnation is not your destiny. That heavy identity shaped by trauma, shame, and rejection is not the version of you that lives your highest vision. That future reality already exists in a parallel vibration, a frequency you must align with, not chase. You cannot access that reality while being emotionally addicted to your past. You cannot relive guilt or resentment and expect expansion. You cannot show up as yesterday's version of yourself and expect to collapse a new timeline. To break this loop, we must meet the old self, not to judge it, but to honor what it taught us and let it go. We enter the quantum field through vibration, collapsing the energetic imprint of the past to inhabit the version of you that is already free. The field isn't asking you to try harder, it is waiting for you to tune in differently. You aren't stuck because your future isn't real, you're stuck because your identity keeps recreating the same reality. Once you release the wounds and labels, life will bend and reality will reconfigure. Something is awakening from within you. You wake up in the same bed with the same internal narrative, hopping today is different, but your body has often already chosen otherwise. Long before your conscious mind takes over, your subconscious identity has set the tone. You don't step into a new day, you step back into an old self because the body remembers emotions as neurochemical patterns. By age 35, 95% of who you are consists of memorized behaviors and unconscious habits. Most of what you call you is actually conditioning. The moment you change your perception, you rewrite your chemistry. Change feels difficult because you are fighting an emotional addiction to a version of yourself that expects disappointment or feels unworthy. You didn't choose this, but your system decided that familiar suffering was safer than the unknown. This is the real prison, the identity we're afraid to leave behind even when it steals our joy. Ask yourself with compassion, what emotions do you rehearse most often? If they are regret, anger, or doubt, recognize that your body may be addicted to those signals simply to reinforce the chemical identity of the old self. It is time to unbecome. If that is true, what kind of reality is your emotional broadcast attracting? The brutal truth that most never confront is that your old self is not merely a memory, it is a magnetic field. The quantum field is not listening to your affirmations or your vision board, it is responding to the emotional signature you carry 24/7. You may claim to want love, but if your baseline frequency is "I am not enough," you will instinctively repel intimacy. You may visualize abundance, but if your emotional home is rooted in fear, you will unconsciously block opportunities, not because you are undeserving, but because your nervous system has not yet updated to the version of you that is aligned with receiving. This is why you can read every book, take every course, and repeat every mantra yet remain stuck. Healing is not just mental, it is vibrational, embodied, and cellular. To change this, we must first bring awareness to the pattern, not to shame it but to see it. You must recognize that who you have been is not a fixed reality but a practice vibration, when you can stop rehearsing the moment you choose to stop identifying with it. This is not self-hate, it is self-liberation. It is giving yourself permission to stop carrying the weight of a version of you that only existed to survive a world that no longer exists. There is a beautiful paradox here. The moment you observe your old self without merging with it, when you witness it through the eyes of your higher self, you become the observer. In quantum terms, the observer collapses the wave. The moment you become aware of your old self as a pattern, you are no longer the pattern, you are the consciousness watching it. That awareness is the first crack of light in a new reality. Make a conscious declaration to the field that you are no longer available for the past. This space is not about information, it is about transformation. We have been told to ask, believe, and visualize, yet many of us are still waiting for something to click. When the breakthrough doesn't happen, we wonder if we are doing it wrong. But the problem isn't that your desire is too big, it's that your vibration is too familiar. The quantum field mirrors back only one thing: your state of being. This is the law of vibrational coherence. Coherence occurs when your heart, mind, emotions, and actions are all aligned. The energetic yes the universe is waiting for. You cannot outmanifest your frequency. The field doesn't hear "I want abundance" if your nervous system is screaming "I am not enough." It is an exact mirror. You cannot expect the reflection to change until you truly shift your stance. Most people try to manifest from their current identity, using the lens of who they are now to access a timeline that belongs to a completely different version of themselves. The future you doesn't just think differently, they are different. Every thought sends an electrical signal, and every emotion radiates magnetically, creating a radio signal to the quantum field. If you are broadcasting lack and doubt while trying to tune into a timeline of gratitude and joy, it is like trying to hear a symphony through a radio set to static. This is about energetic truth. As Neville Goddard suggested, you are not manifesting, you are selecting. Who you are being is the selector. You don't pull things in, you pull yourself up. Manifestation without identity work is like pushing a boulder uphill, building a future on the foundation of an outdated self. The only question that matters is this: who do I need to become right now to be a vibrational match to what I desire? Reality is not linear and time is not a fixed track. You are not walking a straight line from point A to point B, slowly building toward a future version of yourself. Instead, there exists a vast, infinite field of now moments, all occurring simultaneously and all available depending on what you choose to tune into. In quantum language, this is the multiverse. In spiritual terms, it is divine potential. The thriving, healed, and magnetic version of you is not on the way, they are already here, existing at a different frequency. Your task is not to chase them, but to collapse the distance between your current state and theirs by becoming vibrationally compatible. This is deeply practical. Ask yourself, if your highest self were already living through you, how would they breathe, walk, speak, or handle their world? They wouldn't cling to old stories of rejection or settle for less. They vibrate from a place of trust, alignment, and magnetic calm. They don't manifest through forced effort, they attract through coherence. The universe does not rearrange itself because you are worthy, it rearranges because you are resonant. Resonance is something you become. The most powerful shift you can make is to stop identifying with the old story and start aligning with the new one, walking the path before it physically appears. Close your eyes and imagine the version of you who already lives the life you desire. Feel their ease, their clarity, and their presence. They have let go of the weight and burned the old scripts. When you ask them what they released to become this free, you realize that the new self is built not by adding more but by subtracting layers of programming and pretense until only essence remains. You are not becoming something new, you are remembering who you truly are. The moment you stop identifying with the old frequency, the field responds, first through subtle shifts in thought, then through synchronicities and unexpected opportunities. The old self doesn't need to be destroyed, it should be honored and retired like an outdated operating system that kept you functional but not free. To make this transformation real, you must move from information to embodiment through a quantum identity reset. First, name the old self, the one who loops in fear and limitation, and thank it for helping you survive. Second, perform a ritual of release. Visualize yourself setting down the heavy suitcase of those old memories and walking away lighter. Third, embody the new self by adopting the posture and breath of the person you intend to be. Finally, anchor this shift with a declaration: I no longer collapse the past, I tune into who I truly am. Let these words vibrate in your cells. As you embody this new frequency, the field begins to rearrange. Your outer world shifts not because you begged for it, but because you became someone new. This resonance is your new reality, a doorway you must choose to walk through every time the old self tries to return. The old self will return not to sabotage you, but to be witnessed as a reminder of how much you have outgrown it. Each time you choose differently, you reinforce your new vibration. Your daily practice begins every morning before the world intrudes. Ask yourself which version of you will collapse reality today, and choose consciously, lovingly, and powerfully. This choice does more than change your life. It shifts timelines, sending a ripple through the quantum field that reshapes what is possible for you and everyone you touch. You have reset your identity and entered the field as someone new. When you finally release who you were, reality begins to rearrange itself around who you truly are, not in a year but in this very moment. The shift starts when you change, and that lightness or sense of peace you feel is the field responding to your new frequency. Reality has always been more malleable than we were taught. It is fluid, dynamic, and waiting for you to tune into it. Quantum manifestation isn't about dragging the future toward you, but rising to meet it. By becoming the frequency of the life you desire, the external world must conform by universal law, not through magic, but through the mathematics of resonance. Your vibration is the architecture of your reality. Even if nothing looks different yet, you have changed, and that alone alters everything. From this point forward, every thought and emotion either aligns you with your expanded timeline or calls you back to the past. The real practice happens in the moments when old emotions rise and you recognize them as mere residue, or when you pause an old pattern to declare that you no longer collapse that version of yourself. You are no longer broadcasting the past. You have changed your signal, and that change carries beautiful, soul-expanding consequences. You will see unexpected clarity, synchronicities, and effortless ideas that confirm you are finally walking as your true self. As we close this sacred container, recognize the infinite, radiant, and whole self within you. Make your presence known to the quantum field by declaring that the old version of you has been released. This space is more than content. It is a frequency and a home for those rising into the versions of themselves they were born to be. Staying connected helps you stay coherent and elevated, contributing to a collective shift. As more of us vibrate in our highest truth, the world reflects that truth back to us. You are part of an awakening field of beings. The old you has served its purpose, the new you is already living the next chapter, and reality is listening. We will see you in the next timeline.